Hello. Hi, everyone. I was supposed to start this stream over an hour ago, but streaming is hard. I spent so much time trying to figure out the sound, which, by the way, I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see everything. Um, but yeah, I finally made it. Thank God. But let me greet you properly. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome to my second official live stream. It's actually my third, but we don't talk about the first one. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope the holiday season is going well for you. So, as you can tell, we're gathered here today to talk about Matilda Djerf. She's had a lot of accusations levied against her over the past, I would say, 48 hours. She's been accused of bullying, fat shaming, and just overall being a nightmare to work with. She's been accused of being a bad boss. And for someone who doesn't know her or isn't familiar with her type of content, this might seem almost irrelevant. Like, okay, well, she's a bad boss, whatever. But we're gonna go more into it throughout this video and just how shocking it is when you get to really see her for who she has portrayed herself to be. So the reason why this is kind of a big deal is because Matilda is an influential influencer. She's just not one of the girls posting, her day in the lives or her pictures doing whatever. No, Matilda is, I would say, the creme de la creme of influencers. She's Swedish. She's only 27 years old, but she's amassed millions of followers on social media. She is on the Forbes 30 under 30. And at this point, if you ever get called to be on Forbes 30 under 30, you should be running because everybody who is on that list at one point or another, something comes out about them. So, your best bet is to focus on your own business and do your own thing. But Matilda is influential because of who she is, because of her hair, her style, her fashion. She's kind of made Scandinavian fashion slash the aesthetic very popular. Of course, there are other Swedish or Nordic influencers, but again, Matilda is the creme de la creme. And this following, this popularity that she's been able to gain off the back of just how she looks like, the content that she makes, who she is as an individual, to be honest, is very genius. And she's been able to turn that interest, that social media attention, into a highly lucrative brand. It's worth millions of dollars, and that brand is called Djerf Avenue. It's kind of why we're gathered here today. Now, the reason why this is kind of shocking, whether you know her or you're getting to know her, is that her general aesthetic, who she is as a person, does not reflect the accusations that have been put out against her. She's like this cute Polly Pocket, um, aesthetically pleasing girl or woman. So for her to have this sweet, almost angelic, wouldn't hurt a fly type of persona, and for her to be attached to something as serious
Good
as
morning, good morning.
workplace bullying, I mean, this is a grown woman. You'd almost ask yourself, why would she bully somebody else? Don't worry, we'll get into it. Um, so that's kind of why it's shocking. What she puts out, her videos on social media, they do not reflect what she's being accused of. But I want to play a video of Matilda to kind of give you um a kind of look into the kind of person she portrays herself to be. And I don't want to seem too judgy because I'm very aware that everybody has bad days, But I don't think this is the case or the situation where we could argue she had a bad day. This seems to be consistent behavior. Um, but again, she is not who she portrays herself to be. So I'm gonna stop yapping for a minute and play the video just so that you can see.
Good morning, good morning. You're welcome in. It's your hair appointment. You're gonna be spoiled. It's straight and then to your right. Good morning. Good morning. Come inside.
So, as you just saw from the video, that's kind of who she is, very cute. She has this very soft voice. She's very petite. She doesn't look like someone who could, I guess, bully you, but I guess bullies or people allegedly bullies or all the things that she's been allegedly accused of. It doesn't really have a look. But yeah, she doesn't give off that vibe of someone who could hurt another person, especially because that's not what she puts outside. So, one thing that you will realize throughout the video is at different points, there's a lot of talk about Matilda's image, right? Oh, I didn't expect this from her. I didn't know she could do that. It's going to come up a lot because I don't know if I should say it's social media or this is how we've always been. When I say we've always been, I mean like a society where we just deify anyone who kind of looks like they've got it together, and then we ignore the fact that, yeah, this is a real person and real people can be good, sometimes really good. Some people are angels, and other times, some people are just god awful. But I want us to move on to the main like meat of the video, which is the documentary that came out or the expose. Something interesting that you should know is that this is by Swedish media. So this is not like Americans or people who don't understand maybe her. This is not like people just coming for her. This is by her own people who are, I guess, shocked or disappointed in her behavior, and they came out with this expose. It's in Swedish, but there are English subtitles, and I'm not gonna play the full thing. You can watch it on YouTube, but I wanted to play just a little bit and the main parts, which I feel kind of give us a look into the whole situation. So I'm gonna play it, and then I'll give my thoughts throughout. Yeah.
Det är den absolut värsta arbetsplatsen jag varit på i hela mitt liv. Jag önskar ingen att jobba där.
Det är daglig bevittning av folk som blir mobbade.
Tjejerna som jobbar där är ju livrädda för Matilda.
Hi, my name is Matilda Djerf.
Tidningen Forbes rankade ju dig som en av de 30 mäktigaste unga entreprenörerna i Europa.
Matilda Djerf är en av de mest inflytelserika personerna i den svenska och internationella influencervärlden.
Hon är så cool. Det är så coolt också att hon har blivit så känd över hela världen.
I love her style.
2019 startade hon klädmärket Djerf Avenue som på kort tid har blivit en riktig framgångssaga. Företaget omsätter idag hundratals miljoner kronor och den skandinaviska stilen har blivit en succé världen över.
Yeah, I've been following her for a really long time from home, and when I think of Stockholm, I think of kind of her brand.
Företaget beskriver sig själva som att de värdesätter respekt, inkludering och att skapa en stöttande och inspirerande miljö.
I wanted to come on real quick because this part that they're showing on the screen is on Djerf Avenue's website. So this is what the brand slash Matilda are pushing outwardly. In our workplace, we value respect, inclusivity, collaboration, and creating a supportive and inspiring environment. The words used creates that impression that it's a kumbaya type of environment. Um, Again, I get it. The workplace, school, wherever, it's never going to be perfect, but the kind of things and how the employees were treated, I don't think that's normal. But let's continue.
På arbetsplatsen.
Det är ett ständigt uppvaknande för alla som börjar på Djerf Avenue att bolaget utåt, det är inte samma bolag som vi jobbar på, det är raka motsatsen.
Jag har pratat med över 10 personer som har jobbat eller fortfarande jobbar för Djerf Avenue. Oberoende av varandra beskriver de ett företag långt ifrån den polerade fasaden.
Varje dag pågår en psykisk terror på det här kontoret. Är du dum i huvudet eller? Du är verkligen dålig på ditt jobb. Hon skriker på oss och hon kallar oss namn.
Jag har nog aldrig varit så rädd för en människa i hela mitt liv.
De flesta som jobbar på företaget är unga tjejer. Många av dem vågar inte öppet prata om sina upplevelser. De är rädda för konsekvenserna.
Hon kunde skälla ut den framför hela kontoret och jag var rädd varje dag över att jag skulle få en utskällning.
Hon kunde
I want to jump in again because I've seen some of the comments and I've seen some of the conversations about this whole debacle, this whole drama. It's not drama, people have been affected. But I have seen some comments where and we'll address it later on in the video as well, but I've seen some comments and some people having these talking points of, are we not holding Matilda, a woman, to not unrealistic, but to very harsh standards, that if this was a man, we would be more sympathetic. I'll give my thoughts on that, sure, but I want you to remember, or I want us to be I want us to also acknowledge the fact that the people that are facing these quote unquote not quote unquote, I'm sorry. The people that are facing these issues, you know, they're alleging that they were abused. They are young women. So even though Matilda is a woman and, you know, we can talk about the difference in the way men and women are treated when they're accused of certain things, the people that are on the receiving end of this, you know, accusation or this this bullying are women. And even other times in other situations when it's a man doing something wrong, most times or a lot of the times it's women receiving. So to be honest, sometimes I like to say that I don't really care whether it's a man or a woman. I care about the person that's receiving the abuse. And most times it's a woman or women. Let's continue.
skrika på någon om kaffet var slut. Hon kunde skrika att man satt på fel plats. Hon kunde skrika på någon om man inte hade värmt upp hennes mat. Var det ostädat någonstans så flippade hon ur.
Det finns tillfällen då hon har radat upp anställda och skrikit på dem och sagt hur dåliga de är på sitt jobb. Det var så pass att en anställd började gråta och ville säga upp sig. Man hade press på sig att om man inte kunde jobba över så hamnade man automatiskt lägre i rang. Då kanske inte Matilda ens sa hej till en.
I 11 intervjuer har Aftonbladet fått ta del av vittnesmål om hur Matilda Djerf behandlar sin personal bakom stängda dörrar.
Jag har aldrig varit på en arbetsplats där jag fått en panikångestattack, men det fick jag första gången hon skällde ut mig. Efteråt satt jag bara där och skakade.
Jag var rädd för Matilda. Jag tyckte inte om när hon var i rummet. Hon var nedlåtande. Hon kunde bli äcklad över att man åkte i kollektivtrafiken. Man visste aldrig vilket humör hon var.
The most interesting part about this comment of her allegedly making comments or making fun of people for taking public transport is that she has this very relatable persona. And when I was doing research for this video, I found out that she was very open about the fact that in her past, she worked regular jobs. Like I believed she worked in a grocery store or something, and she had a bunch of other like just everyday, you know, what a normal young person would do for work at the side or on the side. And I believe she also took public transportation. When her business was starting, she spoke about the fact that her sister-in-law or her brother's girlfriend, she was one of like her first employees. So it's like super tight knit, like, I'm just like a little small business and I'm just trying my best. I'm trying to, build the brand. And her parents were the ones who were helping her um ship packages and stuff like that. So it's ironic that she would have a problem or make fun of someone for taking public transportation when she herself has been very vocal about the fact that she's just a regular girl. She used to work a regular job and, she started this business. And even though she had millions of followers, she's still down to earth and, keeping it in the family. And she's just normal. You're pushing that you're normal, but allegedly behind the scenes, you're making fun of someone for something as basic as public transportation, especially in Sweden, where public transportation is like really good, really effective, clean. Why would that be a problem? But let's continue.
På och man kände konstant stress. Folk mår alltså fruktansvärt dåligt. Jag har aldrig sett så mycket människor så pass nedbrutna. Det blev till slut vardag. Hur många kommer gråta idag? Hur många grät igår? Kommer jag gråta idag?
Det är flera som berättar att de haft sömnproblem och behövt gå till psykolog under sin tid på arbetsplatsen. En återkommande stress är vad många beskriver som en favoriseringskultur där man flyttas upp och ner i hierarkin.
Matilda har sin egen toalett och den får ingen annan gå på utan den är avspärrad för bara henne och hennes favoritanställda. Men en gång så hade lappen trillat ner från den här toaletten och så hade någon råkat använda den toan. Och då fick en annan anställd skrubba toaletten innan Matilda kunde använda den igen.
Let's talk about this part because this is the part that has gone, I would say, the most viral. A lot of people were kind of disgusted, confused, annoyed, shocked, particularly about this. I feel like the other stuff, maybe you could try to argue, oh, this and that. Oh, she yelled. Yeah, she was having a bad day, stuff like that. But this is the one that a lot of people were confused about. Of course, some people were also like, well, she's the boss. Let me try and explain it in a way that makes sense to me. She is the boss or the CEO, 100% deserves to have her own private toilet slash bathroom. I can understand that. It's just one of the perks of being the CEO, the boss. Just like how if you were the CEO, you would have your own parking space, you would have your own office. That's normal. The problem with this is that Matilda allowed herself to not only use that private toilet, but allow other people on her staff to use it as well. So that's going to create not only this kind of clique where if you're not friends or besties with Matilda, you don't get to use the good toilet. You know what I mean? If she was using it by herself, then that's perfectly fine. She's the boss, she deserves that. Why would you let some employees use the same toilet as you, but then others can't use it as well? So in that case, you're even being discriminatory because someone will ask themselves, what about me is so wrong that I can't use it, but this other person can? Especially when it's not based on rank and it's just based on friendship. And if the sign fell off, the picture that you just saw, let me see if I can go back where it says, yeah, please do not use. That's crazy. That's actually super crazy. Especially with the heart. Please do not use exclamation mark, and a heart. Oh man, that's tough. I'm not gonna lie. If you really wanted to keep it to yourself, I think you should have used a better sign. But that's me being petty. If the sign fell off and someone else used it, as long as there weren't, excuse my language, as long as there weren't like poop all over the toilet and the floor was dirty and it was just a mess, I see no reason why someone would have to scrub it down with bleach. You know, it's kind of a step too far. So the other things you can argue she was in a bad mood, she could have been having a bad day, that's fine. But this but not allowing someone to use a toilet based on, "Oh, we're not friends," when you're the CEO? Yeah, I I can't agree with that. Let's continue.
Men en gång så hade lappen trillat ner från den här toaletten och så hade någon råkat använda den toan. Och då fick en annan anställd skrubba toaletten innan Matilda kunde använda den igen. Hon vill liksom inte gå på samma toalett som oss. Vi är liksom inte medmänniskor, vi är inte kollegor för henne.
Vad tänker du när du hör de här rösterna?
Alltså det låter ju absurt.
Stefan Blomberg är psykolog och landets främsta expert på mobbning på arbetsplatser.
Men alltså det bryter ju mot arbetsmiljölagen om det är så här. Det där är ju negativa, kränkande, trakasserande, nedlåtande kommentarer. Och det ska man inte behöva bli utsatt för som anställd i Sverige 2024.
Djerf Avenue har profilerat sig som ett företag som jobbar med inkludering.
De är klädda i allt ifrån storleken XXS till XXL.
Alla är lika mycket värda och alla har rätt att synas. Men på kontoret vittnar de anställda om helt andra tongångar.
Det var en gång när vi hade en modell i en av våra större storlekar. Och när de bilderna levererades så sa Matilda att det här måste vi ta om. För hon ser så jävla fet ut i de här kläderna. Det kan vi inte visa. Och med de orden sagda så var det ju det vi fick göra. Även fast vi alla kände att du bevisar så mycket nu att...
So in this case, she's pushing a brand. She's creating a brand that's very inclusive. The sizing is inclusive. They're using all different kinds of models to really push the idea that this brand is for any and everyone. There's nothing wrong if Matilda thinks the pictures that came back didn't look the way that she wanted, right? This is a clothing brand. It's a it's a visual brand, to be very honest with you. She's posting on social media, on Instagram, and you really have to sell the clothes. However, what's wrong if you just say, "Oh, I don't think these pictures look very good. I want us to retake them." How about that? There's no need to say, "This person looks this, or that." You can just get straight to the point. "Oh, I don't think the pictures are what I want to see on the page. Maybe it's not flattering. Can we take some new ones?" Again, this is not what she has portrayed online. And I'm going to read the quote on the screen. She makes it so clear that she doesn't stand for what she portrays outwardly, which means that if all of these things are true, she's acting. She's completely faking it. She doesn't believe in inclusion. She doesn't believe in what she's pushing, what she's selling. And that means she's only really concerned about selling to everyone to make as much money as possible, allegedly. It's not really about creating a brand that is truly inclusive. It's about how many boxes can I check off so that I can sell to as many people as humanly possible so that I can make as much money as physically possible, allegedly. Let's continue.
Du står inte för det du visar utåt.
Hon kommenterade ofta folks kropp kroppar och utseende. Till en person sa hon att hennes rumpa inte fyllde ut jeansen. Och till en annan så sa hon att rumpa fyllde ut jeansen för mycket. Det kändes som att vissa blev utnyttjade i personalen för att de hade ett utseende som inte tillhörde normen. Det var vissa anställda som var plus size eller hade en annan etnicitet som användes mycket i företagets sociala medier för att det såg bra ut. Men det var inte genuint.
Jag hann knappt sätta igång med den här granskningen innan Djerf Avenue hörde av sig och undrade varför jag ställt frågor om arbetsmiljön till tidigare anställda. Jag föreslår direkt en intervju med Matilda Djerf, men företaget tackar nej.
Enligt mina källor så är problemen på arbetsplatsen välkända för HR och ledningen. Trots detta vittnar flera om att situationen inte blir...
The person conducting the documentary says HR and management are aware, yet despite this, nothing improves. Of course, nothing will improve. She's the CEO. This brand is based off of her image, her likeness. It wouldn't even sell this well if not for the fact that Matilda is the face of the brand. And even if the brand had the most eye-catching, captivating clothes as humanly possible, they still wouldn't be as popular because they wouldn't have Matilda. And HR and management are only there because Matilda hired them. There's nothing they can do. The only thing they can do is to beg Matilda to please stop, to please tone it down a little. And also, if you don't know, the person who is a partner to this business, so basically what I mean to say is Matilda's not the only person who created Djerf Avenue. It was a joint venture between her and her longtime partner, her boyfriend. So if you think about it, what is he supposed to do? Even if he wants to help an employee or he feels like she's taking things too far, he has a romantic and a personal relationship with her. So even if he's the head of HR or management or he's the co-CEO, he's the next person in charge or he's equal to her position, he can't do or say anything. Not only because that might be his partner at work, but also because that's his girlfriend. He can't.
bättre. När jag pratade med HR och med vdn om hur Matilda har behandlat mig så sa de att det alltid har varit så och det egentligen bara är så. Vad vill du att vi ska göra? Vi kan ju inte sparka Matilda. Jag har liksom lyft den här problematiken i hopp om förändring. Men det har bara resulterat i att hon inte tilltalar mig längre. Hon hälsar inte på mig ens. Det känns helt fruktansvärt. Hur allvarligt är det att bli utsatt för något sånt här?
Ja, så det utgör hälsorisker. Och när man då hela tiden blir kritiserad och anklagad och så här, då brukar folk efterhand börja på något sätt tappa tilltron till sig själv.
Till slut så blir man galen. Man känner att man håller.
Can I just say that it's really comforting to hear Mr. Bloomberg, I think he's the psychologist. It's really comforting to hear him say things like, this is wrong, this has health effects, people shouldn't be treated like this. Because most times, especially when it comes to adult bullying, allegedly, people don't take it seriously. When you say, oh, I have this boss or this person at work who is really mean to me, they say harsh things to me, they make me feel bad. People say, oh, you're an adult, deal with it. Or they say, oh, well, it's just how it is, it's just work. So it's really nice to hear him really just lay it out and say, no, this is wrong. Is this too far? This has effects on people. And I feel like if I'm one of the victims, listening to him talk about it like this, and I also like the way the whole thing is not really like sensationalized. Maybe to somebody it might be, but to me it's just very much straight to the point. Like, this is what she did. This is how it made me feel. I'm shocked. It kind of hurt my feelings, and that's it. They're not really like trying to push something. But let's continue.
På att tappa sig själv. Det är ju typ som att vara i en destruktiv.
Matilda Djerf is under fire.
Okay, so that comes to the end of the documentary. That's like the main parts that I wanted to play. I'm gonna play this TikTok. It kind of like summarizes everything, just in case you were not able to like keep up with the documentary, and we'll get into more commentary and other people's opinions about this whole thing. So let's start with this one.
By her own employees. A Swedish media outlet called Aftonbladet interviewed 11 employees of Djerf Avenue, and they described the hostile work environment at Djerf Avenue. If you guys didn't know, Matilda Djerf is a 27-year-old Swedish influencer. In 2019, she started a clothing line called Djerf Avenue, and it became very popular. Matilda's most recent collab is with Rode for their holiday line. But according to these 11 testimonies from employees of Djerf Avenue, Matilda Djerf is not.
Isn't it absolutely crazy and coincidental and ironic that Matilda just collaborated with Hailey Bieber's brand Rode, and just when they like wrapped up, promotions, and they were excited, they were posting about it, she gets exposed for bullying and for being mean? That's crazy because, I mean, as you all know, earlier in the year, Hailey Bieber, she was facing a hate train. I mean, honestly, she's been facing a hate train ever since she got with Justin Bieber, but it's like, what bad timing. And of all things that Matilda could have been accused of, it's bullying, which basically translates to being a mean girl. It's just, it's crazy. Bad timing.
Who she seems. Aftonbladet's full YouTube video is in Swedish, but there are English subtitles. Here are just some stuff that the employees had to say. One person said that there have been times where she lined up employees, yelled at them and told them that they were bad at their jobs, to the point where employees started to cry and one wanted to resign on the spot. Others say she would yell at them if they were sitting in the wrong seat. She would yell if someone did not heat up her food. If something was not clean, she would throw a temper tantrum. She yells at us, calls us names. I've probably never been so scared of a person in my life. Every day, there's a psychological terror in that office. So apparently Matilda had her own toilet that she would use, and it was not allowed to be used by anyone else except for some of her favorite people that she would allow to use her toilet. She had even put up this sign saying, please do not use to the others in that office. But one day, this sign had fallen. So someone else had used the toilet because it's a toilet. They thought they could. And then Matilda had another employee scrub the toilet clean before she could ever use it again. And one employee said she does not use the same toilet as us. She doesn't look at us as people, as colleagues. Djerf Avenue is a company that likes to show that they practice inclusivity when it comes to their clothing brand. However, according to these testimonies, she makes it so clear that she does not stand for what she portrays outwardly. Someone gave an example that they had a plus-size model do a photo shoot, and when Matilda had seen these photos, she said, we need to retake these photos because she looks so damn fat in these clothes. Matilda Djerf and Pernilla Bonet, a spokesperson for the company, responded to the allegations in detail. When Bonet was asked if it was reasonable that an employee who was not a cleaner should have had to scrub the toilet Matilda wanted to use, Bonet said obviously it was not and they would work to rectify the situation. Bonet defended the right of Djerf to have her own toilet in order to stay healthy, but said the use of it by favorites would end. And in Matilda's own statement, she said, I take the criticism that has come forward very seriously, that a safe and respectful work environment is crucial for me, both as a person and as the founder of Djerf Avenue. If any staff member has felt mistreated, we need to take action. Another person said, watch the expose in English and I am so disappointed I supported your business. Unfollow and stop shopping. Best way to react, then write violations. And it seems like that's exactly what people have been doing. Today alone, via Social Blade, she lost 1,862 followers. And as you guys can see, Matilda losing followers is not very common. To have 11 employees come forward and say such horrible things about their work environment, this is not just like a one-off type of thing. This is a normal type of thing.
So again, 11 employees is a pretty high number. And the fact that when they reported it, they said, this has been happening. What do you want us to do? This is her allegedly her normal behavior. Allegedly. Um, but this isn't the first time her brand, Djerf Avenue, and Matilda have been engulfed in some kind of negative press. I remember it was last year. Actually, to be honest with you, I have seen pictures of Matilda, but she's not like an influencer that I follow per se, but I am familiar with her. And when she came out with Djerf Avenue, I was just like, oh, okay, that's her usual thing. So I'm not a fan of her, like a super fan, but I'm also not like a hater. I'm just like, oh, I know her. That's it. I just wanted to give that just in case you wanted to know like where I stand like with her. But yeah, last year, her brand Djerf Avenue was taking down smaller creators and just creators in general, their videos off of TikTok and other social media platforms because um so her brand has these fruit pajamas. It's just basic pajamas. It has fruit on them. And people were posting dupes because her prices are pretty high, and she slash the brand felt like that was not appropriate for people to do, and it was ruining the, I guess, integrity of their brand. So they were taking down videos, and a lot of creators were taken out of the TikTok creator fund. And creators who had spent a lot of time building their channels had lost it because of Matilda and Djerf Avenue. So there was a lot of controversy. Some people felt like she had every right to. Some people felt like, she shouldn't have done that. But I want to give this little backstory so that you know that this is not the first time that her brand has been called out slash Matilda was called out. Um, and I think this shows in a funny way that there is something fishy going on at the company, and they should have solved it when they had their big scandal the first time. I guess they didn't really learn from that. And I also feel that that drama um, with Djerf Avenue from last year put her on the radar for this investigation. I'm not saying that she wouldn't have been investigated either way, but I feel like if they were not really paying attention to her before, she kind of made them pay attention to her now. But yeah, I want to just give you that little backstory, and then let's look at the controversies of last year in detail. Sorry for the little yap session. Let's continue.
Honestly, if you want the Matilda Djerf dupe pajama, get it on Amazon. I just woke up, slept in this, went great, was fluid, comfortable, non-see-through, everything you want in a pajama, and affordable. The only difference is the print is bigger and it's less see-through. So that's something to note. And I just wanted to add something because some of you guys seem shocked that Matilda is engaging in this type of behavior. I was invited to the Djerf Avenue.
So before she continues, please pay attention to the date. This is 2023. That's last year. So she's about to tell you a bad experience that she had with meeting Matilda. So again, like, this seems to be something that's been out there for a while. Let's continue.
Guggenheim fashion show. Drove 7 hours from Montreal to New York to do it. Was super happy to do it. Wanted a picture with her when I got there. Like everybody else, asked nicely, didn't like push in, didn't do anything weird, just kind of asked, hey, can we get a picture with you, me and a couple other girls from my table. She turned around, looked us up and down, went, no, I'm not taking pictures, I really want to take time with you guys, like I want to be with you guys. And then she did a face like that in like a mild disgust at us even asking her like Royal Highness for a picture, and then she proceeds to turn around and walk away. Didn't spend any time with us. Just didn't want to take pictures with us lowly, like, whatevers. And then we saw her take pictures with like bigger influencers.
So Matilda Djerf.
So this behavior is similar to what she's being accused of, in the allegations, which is she treats people based on a hierarchy. She looks at you and she decides, you look like someone I should regard and show respect. And then you look like someone who I don't really care for, so I'm not really going to bother. I'm not going to fake it. So I know a lot of people will, not a lot of people, but I know that some people will begin to come out, like celebrities and other models will begin to come out and say things like, she was such a sweet angel. She would never hurt a fly. Which again, I don't disagree with you, but I think that's your perspective. If she treated you well, that's great, but you also have to acknowledge that it's very possible that she treated you better because she thought you were better, while she treated others worse because she thought they didn't deserve it. Allegedly. Let's continue.
And her company has been attacking micro-influencers and like forcing their videos to be taken down and reporting them as like trademark issues. And Matilda actually deactivated her TikTok account because I guess she can't take the heat. And you can pause to read, but Djerf Avenue posted this to their Instagram page yesterday. I guess as a means of explaining why people's honest reviews or posting dupes of products that Matilda and her brand have posted, which is ironic given the fact that a lot of her brand is actually dupes of other things that she's worn in the past made by different brands. All of these are on Reddit. You can find them pretty easily. Like this is something that she used to wear from her closet and then she basically remade it and is selling it underneath her own brand. So I guess that the irony of all of this is really astounding to me. And it's sad to see that someone who used to post very frequently about designer dupes that they were wearing is now doing this to other creators and deactivated their own account. So here's the thing. She tried to copyright this pattern, but she actually doesn't own the trademark for this pattern. She applied through multiple like intellectual property offices, but they all rejected her application. So this is actually a screen grab from the European Union Intellectual Property Office. As you can see again here. So here we can see summer berries, and in the top right corner, the folder with a line through it shows you that the application was actually rejected. So she does not own a copyright for this pattern because her application was refused. So her Instagram story and her statements from the other day where she's saying that she has a copyright on this hand-drawn, very basic design. Unfortunately, intellectual property offices and trademark offices don't agree that this is original.
So the crazy thing about this previous story from last year is that she would have known, she and the company would have known that they don't own the copyright, but they were still taking down people's pages and channels just because they could. Maybe they had the money / connections to do so, but they did it knowing that they don't own the designs and that people are free to share dupes of pajamas or any kind of clothing that has some fruit designs. Let's continue.
Which is sad because that means that a lot of micro-influencers who have tried to create content about Matilda Djerf inspired outfits or pajamas were getting their content taken down for really like no reason at all. The more and more information that people keep sending me about this girl and this business is really unsettling, because I was told by several people who actually walked most recently in the Djerf Avenue September collection for Fashion Week in New York City that they weren't even paid, allegedly, for being there. I'm going to keep this anonymous because apparently she made everyone sign an NDA, allegedly, who was there and who worked for her for free. Hey, I just wanted to reach out in regards to the recent fashion show that Djerf Avenue hosted in September. Throughout the entire time leading up to the show, they never discussed payment. So all the models were in the dark as to whether we were going to be paid. It wasn't until the end of the night that some of us realized we weren't going to be compensated. From what I heard, some of the models even flew out from different states to be a part of the show. For a company that claims to be sustainable and pay fair wages, I found it odd that they didn't pay their models, especially since we were expected to be on site for rehearsals and the actual runway from 10:30 a.m. to 9 o'clock p.m. We were allowed to keep the clothes we wore on the runway, and the Djerf Avenue team did send flowers to all the models for participating in the show. However, for a brand that big, as they are, I don't think it's ethical to not pay their models. And I have another DM. Most of the models didn't care because they are all Matilda stans, but I thought it was a bit weird since the brand talks about being sustainable and fair wages, but didn't pay the models.
I mean, there you have it. Last year, funny enough, around this time, there was conversations already happening about the fact that there's something going on at Djerf Avenue, that Matilda, there's something wrong with the business, the company. It's shocking that no one, whether it was her partner, whether it was family, friends, it's surprising that no one told her, hey, Matilda, you kind of need to shift gears or the company might face, damage that you can't survive. But now that we're all caught up on what's going on currently, and we've also caught up on what's going on, what happened in the past with the brand and these older accusations, I want us to move on to how people have been reacting, because I feel like the opinions have been very, very interesting. Of course, I would say 99% of people acknowledge that those who experienced the bullying allegedly deserve to say their stories and they deserve better. But there have been very different opinions. So let's get into what people have to say, and I'll give you my commentary when it's appropriate. So let's get into it. It's coming. It's coming. Don't worry.
I'm not surprised about the stories coming out about Matilda because I met her 4 years ago. Me and her were both booked as models for this one brand in Sweden, and I was so excited to see her. And I tried to do some small talk with her, but she was not really keen on it, so that's okay. Anyway, as we get shooting, she looks through the rack of clothes that she's supposed to shoot, and then she grabs out a top, and she is tweaking out. She goes crazy, saying, "You stole my design, I'm not gonna shoot in this." It was super basic anyway, and she was just freaking out. She got so angry, she was shaking, she was so angry, she was literally shaking. So I guess she was not shooting a lot of the things that was on her rack because she felt like they were ripping her design off or something, and she just refused. It was really giving diva vibes, and I'm not surprised by the allegations that she with the toilet, or that she is not body positive and all these things, because she wasn't nice, she was not sweet, she wasn't really giving off the same energy as she does on Instagram, and especially after her freak out about a top and how she was not screaming, but almost screaming at people, that it was their almost it was their fault, the stylist's fault or the photographer's fault that the top was there, or that they made a design or something. So that was the first time I met her and the last time as well, and I was really shocked. And I was a bit upset because I thought she would be so different. I thought she would just be really genuine and nice, but she was the complete opposite, and I was a bit shocked.
Okay, so by now you've all heard about the allegations against Matilda Djerf from her ex-staff, and I'm not going to go into them because it is all alleged. We don't know what really happened. But what I do want to get into is all the comments on the viral videos that I'm seeing explaining this being so shocked. All the comments are gobsmacked. All the comments are flabbergasted. All the comments are too stunned to speak. And as someone who's worked in the fashion industry for the better part of the last 10 years, I need to tell you that these allegations aren't just happening with the Matilda Djerfs of the world. It's happening here. It's happening here in Australia in your own backyard, babes. It's happening here with designers and brands that you you know and love and you've shopped from, okay? Maybe you still do shop from, all right? I've worked for designers who have definitely fostered a sense of toxicity and exclusivity within their staff, who have definitely bullied their staff, who have definitely caused their staff to have mental breakdowns and need professional help after working for them. I have worked with designers who have body shamed me, slut shamed me, designers who have told me to stop eating a certain type of food because it is swimwear season around the corner and my body is not bikini body ready. I wish I was joking, but that was said earnestly to me in front of all the other staff from a brand you shop from a designer that you support. And I will put up my hand and I will say, it is not every single brand in Australia. It is not every single fashion designer here in Australia. I've worked for and with and still work with so many brands who are doing it the right way, who love their staff, would never bully anybody, couldn't hurt a fly, right? Disciplinary Rack Apparel, all of the brands that I post about and love currently, all of the brands that I work with as a content creator, I work with them because I love them and because they wouldn't foster a sense of toxicity within their workplace and hopefully they wouldn't bully their staff. I'm talking about like the OG designers, the household names, the wealthy white like women of it all, okay? They're out here bullying their staff. They're out here not paying people properly.
So the reason why I used the Devil Wears Prada picture is because um this creator, and I'm not really gonna focus on her per se. I think the message that she's giving out, like I like it. Oh wait, hold on. I phrased that wrong. Not that I like the fact that she, is bullied at work. What I mean is when I heard her explain it that way, I realized that a lot of people acknowledge that certain industries or a lot of industries are tough, kind of like the Devil Wears Prada, where the fashion industry is very cutthroat and your boss being mean to you is kind of expected. It kind of comes with the territory. And again, like moving away from this creator specifically, a lot of people like to make comments like, oh, my boss kicks me every time I come to the office. Oh, my boss throws a cup of hot coffee on me. It's just work. Um, you're being abused, and that is not normal. And we should be shocked every time we hear abuse at the workplace, abuse anywhere. Just because it's something that's normalized or it's common doesn't mean we should all agree and accept and be okay with bad behavior. And I know that some people are saying it in the sense of, oh, well, if I'm going through it and I'm surviving, then you should be able to go through it too. Like, don't make a big deal out of it. But the point is, we should make a big deal out of it. And you also deserve to have your abuse story spoken about because that's not how you should be treated. And don't forget that this is happening in Sweden, a country that is often ranked at the very top of the happiest people in the world, the best place to live in the world. They are not used to this. I don't think it's a utopia. I don't think it's perfect, but I'm going to assume that they're not used to this kind of work culture. So even though Matilda is Swedish and she lives there and she's used to the culture, maybe she might be too Americanized. I don't know. She's bringing certain cultures that they're not used to. That's just too far. And again, in the first video of the girl who met Matilda at that fashion shoot, if you were paying attention, she said, I thought she would be nicer. I thought she would be sweet. I thought she would be more genuine because what Matilda portrays on the outside allegedly doesn't reflect how she really is behind the scenes. But let's continue with the reactions and what other people have to say. Don't worry, it's coming. It's coming. I'm figuring out this live streaming thing. It's coming.
That these two over again is
sorry guys, it's coming.
I think one thing that is super exhausting about the internet is how we take down women for the same behavior that men get applauded for over and over and over again. And it's not that this behavior should be commended and not stopped, but it's actively that these two timelines are happening at the exact same time. For example, the Matilda Djerf situation. Do I think how she treated her employees is horrible? Yes. Would I ever treat my employees that way? No. Would I ever do any of the things that she did? No. Are these things that she's doing things that men literally do, male CEOs, and it's respected? Yes, to this day. And I think as women, we have a stronger moral compass. I don't mean that as like a fact that every woman has a higher moral compass than a man. I'm just saying the empathy levels that we know are higher in women get in our way, not in our way, but we expect more, which I'm not saying we should lower our standards. I'm saying it's frustrating to see men be applauded for the same actions today, the same day that women are taken down for the exact same actions. And if you don't believe me, just look who we just put as president. And the solution to this is not making these types of actions acceptable. That is not the solution I'm saying that we do. It would just be nice if that same emotional fight that I'm seeing on here towards like cancel Matilda Djerf, cancel Set Active, cancel this and that because they don't meet my moral expectations would be used on these other businesses. Like an ounce of that towards Amazon, which I can't I use Amazon too. So this is not like a moral superiority video. It's just like, I think I get so frustrated when I see all these videos and all these comments, and I do think we love to morally grandstand on here. We love to take someone who did something objectively bad and be like, I'm a better person than you because I don't do that, so I'm gonna sit and dogpile and shit talk on you. Even though, I wanna make a whole other separate video on this, if someone does something bad on the internet and then you meet that by saying mean things to them, that is not a good thing. That makes you doing an objectively bad thing about a person who did a bad thing. So now you're both just bad. I've never understood that about the internet. Talking shit on the internet is not an objectively good thing, and people act like they are saving children when they do it. All right, different rant. So many thoughts on that. But yeah, I don't know if anyone else has been thinking this the last, I guess, 2 days when this came out. Also, I knew this information, not like knew, but knew it about 2 years ago when I went on this trip to France with a bunch of other creators, and they were giving me all the tea on her because they worked with her. And I was like, oh, damn. So I kind of knew this. But again, it kind of just sounded like mean CEO tactics, you know, like, oh, she wasn't nice to me and didn't smile at me when I came in. And it's like, I think being a woman-owned business myself, the expectations are so much higher than men in this trying to do the exact same thing. I think everything you do has to be a good deed, even though in business is not made off of good deeds. Like, look at all these companies that are doing millions and billions in profits. They're not doing good actions to this world, which is something I personally really struggle with, like running a business and trying to make it successful while still being net positive within this world. Okay, I don't know if any of this makes sense, but these are my thoughts. This is what is plaguing my brain.
Thank you to this creator for this video, because it also made me think. I was like, okay, well, I kind of see where you're right. Okay, I don't agree with this. Okay, stuff like that. So thank you to this creator. Her thoughts and her opinions actually did make a lot of sense to me. I want to give my 2 cents, or maybe 3 cents, maybe 4 cents on this. So I want to start off with what she said about there being higher expectations for women. I agree with that. And I agree with it because we live in a patriarchal society. We've been in a patriarchal society since we could all form thoughts and speak words. Men have always been in charge. And it's only in the past, maybe what, 50 or 100 years that women have been put in higher positions, to be the CEO in charge of this, be in leadership positions. And so because we are not used to seeing women, should I say, outside of the home, when you do see them outside of the home, your first reaction is, oh, this CEO, this chief financial officer, this supervisor, she's gonna treat me like my mom or grandma or sister. She's gonna be like super nurturing. You know what I mean? I feel that because and this is women and men included, adults, children, everybody, because we are so used to women working in the home, doing domestic labor, we're used to them just being delegated to the home. We don't really know how to react when a woman is in a position of power. We're not used to it. We don't see it often. We don't see it in the media that often. We don't see it in real life. So I 100% agree. If a male CEO was to be like, "Hey, good morning," and they were just, passing, being on their way, it would be seen as, "Oh, he's super busy, he has things on his mind." But yeah, maybe if a woman did the same thing, it would be like, "Oh, she is so mean." That is a result of patriarchy. That is a result of misogyny. That's a fact. I agree with that. However, I do think it's important to also say that bad behavior is bad behavior. Are there some instances where women are held to unrealistic standards or they're expected to be perfect angels? 100%. Why don't you smile more? You're the CEO. Why don't you just smile a little bit? I agree. However, bad behavior is still bad behavior. Abuse is still abuse because there's always someone on the receiving end. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you're abusing me, allegedly, if you're treating me horribly, I don't care about your gender. I care about myself because I'm in a tough situation. Um, she also made a comment about people feeling morally superior when there's any kind of controversy that comes out about a celebrity or an influencer. I 100% agree. Um, it's not even about when a celebrity or someone famous does something wrong, or partially wrong. Sometimes it's just the way people talk about somebody famous. I actually saw a video earlier today, and it was this person talking about how we have to start, and I hope this makes sense. I'm going to try to summarize it. The person was saying that um the kind of joy or the kind of um like happiness that we get from seeing celebrities in unflattering pictures, where they don't look their best, we really need to rethink that. Like the fact that you can see a celebrity, with a big pimple, their mouth was open, when they were taking a picture, and you can see that and tell yourself, huh, this makes me feel better, because, oh, they set unrealistic beauty standards. Why do you need to see a celebrity looking their worst for you to feel good about yourself? But that's a different video. That's a different conversation for a different day. But it just comes back to the fact that sometimes we as average people like to feel superior, morally superior to celebrities. We do it with their pictures and their bad moments. We do it when they make mistakes. We do it when they say something that we ourselves have said before. You have taken a bad picture before. How would you feel if somebody were to make a video and was like, look at her double chin. Look at how she looks. Don't you feel better about yourself? Celebrities are just like us. If they're just like us, why are you treating them so horribly? If celebrities are just like us, they're just regular people, why do you make comments like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he or she would say this," when you yourself made the same comment yesterday? So I agree, we definitely sometimes like to feel better than celebrities, um, just for our own, I guess, psychological reasons. But moving away from that, sorry for going off tangent, but the reason why I use these two pictures is because I want to talk about how different audiences impact the kind of reactions you will get. So the creator is going on and on about the fact that, if it were a man who did some of the things that Matilda did, he wouldn't be crucified the same way. And while I can somewhat understand, I don't want to say I agree, but while I can somewhat understand, the type of audience that you cultivate will impact how you are perceived and the kind of backlash you will perceive. So on the screen, I have Andrew Tate. He's a red pill superhero. And then I have Shira Seven. She's the sprinkle lady. And both of them have very I don't even want to say that they have similar content. It's Andrew Tate is on a different level. But I will say that Andrew Tate makes content that's attractive to boys and men. So therefore, his audience is primarily men and boys. And Shira Seven makes content that is appealing to girls and women. So her audience is primarily girls and women. Andrew Tate has allegedly committed many, many crimes. He has said horrible, horrible things. He has been deplatformed. And still, he has a strong, active, loyal, and loving fan base who still support his businesses, who still post his videos, there are little boys who go to school and tell other little girls their age some of the things that Andrew Tate says on his live streams. That's how influential Andrew Tate is. And despite his crimes, he's not going to get canceled. He's not going to get canceled by his fans. He might get canceled by you, but you were never his fan. You never watched his content. But his diehard fans are not going to leave him because he's a misogynist. No, they're okay with that. But when you look at someone like Shira Seven, the sprinkle lady, because her audience is mostly women, when so in the picture, as you can see, she modeled for Brandon Blackwood. That's a shoe company, I believe, or a clothing company. And just when the campaign was about to come out, she had posted a video of herself drinking out of a Starbucks cup. And around that time, Starbucks was being boycotted online. And so her fan base of girls and women who were heavily boycotting Starbucks saw her drinking out of that Starbucks cup, and they said, "Hey, Shira, what are you doing?" And she said, "I'm going to drink out of this cup. I don't care what you have to say. I'm going to do it anyway." And because her audience of girls and women also support a brand like Brandon Blackwood had to stop the campaign. They never went forward with it because of the audience. But if Shira Seven had an audience of mostly boys and men, I don't think they would care if she drank out of a Starbucks cup. Different priorities. So then in that case, she wouldn't be canceled. If Brandon Blackwood was a company that mostly catered to men and a bunch of women were complaining that Shira Seven is drinking out of a Starbucks cup, they would still go along with the campaign because Shira Seven's audience of men would be fine with that. But someone like Andrew Tate, if his audience was mostly women, oh my God, I can't even imagine. If his audience was women and he said anything remotely disrespectful or misogynistic, and he was working with a brand like, I don't know, Bath and Body Works or McDonald's or I don't know, Pizza Hut, he would be canceled because his audience of women would not accept that. Does that make sense? So while I understand where this creator is coming from, you have to take into account your audience. There are a lot of male celebrities that are still working or are still popular because their fan base was never really women. The kind of movies or shows were never appealing to women. So women can't cancel them if they do something that's offensive to women. Timothy Chalamet is a male actor who has a lot of female fans. If he were to say something remotely misogynistic, yeah, he could be canceled because his fan base is mostly women, you know? So sometimes you just have to look at who your audience is. And that plays a huge role into whether or not your actions will be taken positively or negatively. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Let's continue with some other reactions. I've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. Okay, pretty long. I'm trying to end it by.
You guys have already answered your own question as.
Oops, sorry. I didn't start it. Okay.
You guys have already answered your own question as to why Matilda Djerf of Djerf Avenue fame thought she could get away with being a massive bully to her staff. To be fair to you, it puzzled me for a second as well. And then I heard a creator say, it's not even like she's doing anything groundbreaking, right? These elevated basics, they're polyester. I've thrifted better things. Or people have said it's just pajamas. Like, where does she get this ego from? It's just these basics. That's the answer. She built a $35 million brand off of, or higher, off of just her face, off of just herself. She knows that she's not offering anything groundbreaking. This style is not like never before seen, right? She's a pretty white girl. And she knows it, and she knows what doors it opened up for her. Of course, she walks in. I guess she doesn't have character if the allegations and the investigations are as true as we think they are, and her own team has confirmed some of them. She walked in every day realizing this whole thing runs because of me and because of how I am. Is that entirely true? No, obviously it took that hardworking staff. But she knew that the only thing making these clothes move, these pieces move, was her face and her brand and her own little self. And she let that get to her head. And this is a story we've seen before where certain girls can just be themselves and be pretty, and that's enough. Whereas other people have to prove all sorts of things, and they're not allowed to fail. Now, what I will say that you will see here is that female founders are rarely given the opportunity to bounce back from things like this, right? This will stick to her in a way some other a-hole behavior on a young white man won't. Atonement is for sure coming in some way, shape, or form, because she cannot afford not to. So I wouldn't say believe it, but expect.
So before we go on to the apology that she and the company gave, I want to quickly respond to what the creator said at the very end. She said this will stick to her in a way that it won't to a man, and yeah, it's gonna stick to her. I want to say that when we are talking about these female founders, right? A lot of them are very front facing. What I mean by that is they let you know that they are the CEO. They're part of the marketing. They are holding these huge seminars. They're girl bossing, right? They push themselves to the front. A lot of the time they use their image and their stories and experiences to really push the brand forward. Matilda Djerf is being held to the fire. But I don't think it's because of her actions alone. I think a huge part of it is because she is very famous and she has used her face alone to sell the business. In the previous creator who was talking about the same thing about men, like not men not being held to the same standard, and she mentioned Amazon. Who knew about Jeff Bezos until a couple years ago? I didn't know. When the company started in the 2000s, who knew what he looked like? Who knew anything about his laugh? I would say somebody like Mark Zuckerberg, the founder and CEO of Facebook. I would say that he is somebody who often gets held, he's someone who often has his feet held to the fire. Why? Because he is someone that who is also very front facing when it comes to his business, his brand. There have been so many movies made about Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. Apple, yeah, a little bit. But I knew about Mark Zuckerberg because, Facebook is a social media platform. And I don't want to say that he used himself to sell the platform, but I remember growing up, even in textbooks, seeing his face and his name, like they were closely associated. So when Facebook does something wrong, it's like, oh my God, Mark, fix it. Am I making sense? So I think if you are a front facing CEO, when something goes wrong, people will look to you and say, hey, as the CEO, you kind of messed up. So fix it. I'm trying to think of businesses where a man is like the face of the brand. I think the only recent person is Patrick Ta. If you don't know, he's a makeup artist who came out with a eyeshadow palette that was like was it like $48 or something? And people were really upset. They were like, this is too expensive. Why would it be so expensive? Stuff like that. If Patrick Ta was a faceless brand, he wouldn't have to come online and explain himself. But he used his face and image to push his brand and push his products. And I remember somebody was saying that, don't quote me on this, but it was like MAC Cosmetics or I believe it was Chanel. It was like some other brand that was selling the same eyeshadow palette for the same price. And people were like, why is it that no one is talking about this other brand when they're selling the same thing as Patrick Ta? Why are you all coming for Patrick Ta? The reason why people were coming for Patrick Ta is because he posted it on his personal Instagram. He used his face and likeness to push the product. He had a TikTok account, so when people were calling out the brand on TikTok, of course he would respond. People were tagging him. So I get it, I agree. Men do get an unfair advantage. They get to be mean, and people are like, "Oh, he's just hardworking. He's just tough." I agree, but let's not ignore the fact that if you put your face to your brand to push said brand, when something goes good, we will clap for you. The general public will say, "Oh, the brand is doing well because of this person, because of Matilda," for example. But that also comes with a lot of responsibility. If something does go wrong, people will point to you. So now let's get into the apology. So we have Matilda's apology. The worst part about this whole thing is that she posted it in the comment section of Djerf Avenue. She didn't make an official post on her Instagram page, which has a lot of followers. She just logged into her account. She searched up Djerf Avenue. She looked for a post and then she posted that. So let me read what she says. Creating a safe, inclusive, and respectful space has always been essential to me. both personally and as the founder of Djerf Avenue. Well, that wasn't accomplished. I take these accusations very seriously, and if my actions have made anyone feel mistreated, I sincerely apologize. Inclusion is one of my core values and the foundation of everything I've built with Djerf Avenue. That I can agree. In terms of whether it's her core values, I can't really, I mean, we don't know at this point. But Djerf Avenue is a brand that is very size inclusive, it's very diverse. That is a fact. So yes, I agree with that. Um Let me see. I deeply value everyone who represents us, and I'm committed to ensuring they always feel appreciated, included, and supported. If anyone has felt otherwise, I am truly sorry. I don't recognize myself in all the claims made, but I see this as an opportunity to listen, grow, and take full responsibility as a leader. I am committed to reflecting, improving, and fostering a better culture for everyone, with the advice and guidance from a coach and ongoing feedback. Okay. Again, like, what can I really say about the apology? It's not really up to me per se. I would say the people that you've hurt deserve it more. I would have liked if you were more specific to them. And I also think she should have made it an official post. I don't think it was smart to post this in a comment section. I don't get the idea behind it. People said it didn't feel genuine, but I guess that's very subjective. So now let's go on to Djerf Avenue itself. So the brand also made an apology, but the fact that Matilda had to personally come and apologize just shows you how intertwined Matilda is to the brand. Where's okay, got it. I was looking for it. Okay. So Djerf Avenue, I'm gonna try and skim through so that we don't stay here forever. We are deeply sorry to hear that some employees have had negative experiences during their time with us. I don't like the wording on that. It sounds very dismissive. We are sorry to hear that some employees have had negative experiences during their time with us. Are you? Because it seems like this is an issue that was reported to you before and you were not really bothered. They say that they sincerely apologize to anyone who has felt hurt or unsupported as a result. As a company and employer, we are firmly committed to improving our workplace and for fostering an environment. Da 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 da. Inclusion is one of Djerf Avenue's most important values and a cornerstone of who we are as a brand. Again, if you can tell, this is a comment they left under a picture in the comment section. This is not an official apology, or this is a really bad way to acknowledge what you have done. When they had their drama last year, they were putting out official statements here and there. Why would they post this in the comment section? It just seems very dismissive and like they don't really care. But let's look at the bigger picture. Let's move on to the dangers of celebrity brands, because whether we want to admit it or not, Matilda is a celebrity. She is a public figure, and this expose says a lot about celebrity brands. What I'll say is this. When it comes to celebrity brands, there are benefits and there are also some setbacks. Before, when celebrities are naming their brands, it was very smart to name it after yourself. You know, the Kardashian credit card, Kylie Skin, Kylie Makeup, so that people can easily say, oh, this is Kylie's brand, this is so and so's brand, you know? But then it was very easy to get canceled, or it was very easy to fall out of favor with the public. So celebrities got smarter, and so did these, brand incubators. And they said, you know what? I think it would be better if you name it something else, so that in the likely case that you do something that's unfavorable or you just fall out of public favor, the brand can still sustain itself and it can still grow. However, I don't think that really works. And the reason why I say that is because um Fenty Beauty, for example, will always be Rihanna's business. It doesn't matter that most people don't know that Fenty is actually Rihanna's birth name. She is heavily marketing the product. We all associate Fenty with Rihanna. So even though it's called Fenty Beauty, it will always be Rihanna Beauty. The Rihanna is the quiet part out loud. And I want to play this video of this girl on TikTok. It's actually really funny, but she tried on the Rhode blush, Hailey Bieber's brand Rhode, and she was making a video talking about how she really likes the product. Listen to how many times she mentions Hailey Bieber's name. It's coming. Hold on.
Hey Hailey Bieber, I just want to say that your Rhode Pocket Blush is so pigmented. I know I went a little bit overboard, but I've just never seen a blush more pigmented than this. So Hailey, keep doing God's work. You're killing it. So thanks to Hailey, we can really make that happen. Thank you so much.
So in the video, she mentions Hailey Bieber's name 3 times. 3 times. However, she's talking about Rhode the brand. Even in the caption, she tags at Rhode Skin. She says, "I love you guys. Thanks for the most pigmented blush on the market." And she also has hashtag Rhode Beauty. The reason why I wanted to include this video is because it's a week ago. So that is how current this video is. So even though the brand has been out for, I would say 2 years now, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's 3 years or maybe it's 1 year. Even though the brand has been around for more than a year, even though Hailey may want this brand to stand on its own, it will always be associated with her. Her name is literally Hailey Rhode Baldwin. That's her middle name. And even if you don't know that it's her middle name, even if you don't know or like Hailey personally, you will know that Rhode is associated and connected with Hailey Bieber. So if Hailey were to ever do something that people don't like, if she were to ever fall out of public favor to the point that she can't recover from it, it's going to affect the brand. Hold on. I'm just checking my notes. And I hope you guys are enjoying the live stream so far. Thank you to everyone who is here and is joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. But yeah, thank you. So on the screen, I have Rhode, I have Fenty, I have Gisou, and then I have MAC. So what I want to say is this. Celebrities will always be tied to their brands because once you start to market it with your face/likeness, that is something you will never be able to escape. If you look at Gisou, I don't know who the owner is of that brand. All I know is they make these hair oils, and one time they had a honey collection, and also they are kind of like aesthetic, with the pink. That's all I know about the brand. I don't know who the CEO is. If they've worked with influencers or if they have ever had a celebrity endorsement, to be honest with you, I have no idea. I only know Gisou as a hair care brand. That's all I know. The same thing with MAC Cosmetics. Do you know who the CEO of MAC is? Do you know who the founder is? Do you even know how old MAC is? Because I don't. I don't know anything about Gisou. I don't know anything about MAC. Even Sephora as a makeup/beauty conglomerate. Who is the owner? Who is the CEO? Who's in charge? I don't know. So the benefit that these celebrity brands gain from being attached to a celebrity at the beginning, it's amazing, it's wonderful. But the downside is you have to always keep pushing and promoting the brand. Hailey Bieber makes Rhode look cool. The phone cases, the lip glosses, she makes it aesthetic. The marketing is great, don't get me wrong. But would you pay attention if Hailey wasn't attached to this? Of course, there would be people who would pay attention, but how many? The same thing with Fenty. I've seen so many people break down the genius marketing of Fenty Beauty and how Rihanna is, she's a pioneer. And I agree with all of that. But if you realize, you'll notice that Rihanna is constantly having to promote the brand. And when Rihanna steps onto the red carpet and she's holding a new Fenty product, it makes the news. It goes on social media. People talk about it. It's a blessing and it's also a curse. It helps you, but it can also bring you down. And should I say the most recent example, similar to Matilda, because a lot of people, a lot of the commentary that we've been listening to so far, a few of them have mentioned, what about the men? When Kanye West went on his social media, just his volcano of opinions, it was so much that Adidas had to terminate their relationship with him. But the brand that he has is called Yeezy. And yes, some people know that Kanye West likes to call himself Yeezus, but maybe you have to really be into Kanye West fandom culture to know that, but most people don't. So even with his millions/billions, he was making billions for Adidas. His company was doing well. People liked it. But once he became public enemy number one, once his comments were too far, he lost his business. He lost his brand. So, yes, women are held to very high standards. But sometimes, if you are too intertwined with your brand, you could lose it. Let's continue. And before we get to the conclusion, my final thoughts, I wanted to include this screenshot that I got from TikTok. And it says, unboxing my Djerf Avenue robe only to return it tomorrow because I won't support a brand led by a woman, emphasis on led by a woman who body shames other women. If Matilda was not associated with this brand, this video would not be made. If Matilda was not an influencer and she only had 400 followers on Instagram, this would not be happening. This is happening because she is leading the brand. She's the face of the brand. And now that her public image is taking a hit, this will affect her sales. But how much? How much will her sales be affected? And this brings us to the next and final part of this video. Djerf may go, but Matilda will stay. I was really debating whether I should have titled this but Matilda may stay. But to be honest with you, I don't think this is enough of I don't think this is a strong enough controversy to really take her down. Not because I don't think the victims deserve their justice and their peace, but just because she's so ingrained in influencer culture. She's one of the Pinterest queens. I just don't see her losing it all. People have said, she's lost followers on Instagram, but I don't really see a huge number or a huge loss of followers. I remember when Hailey Bieber and Selena Gomez were I remember when they were going, the whole back and forth, and they said, people were team Selena, everyone was against Hailey. Hailey was losing a lot of followers. I believe she lost like at least 1 million or maybe more, but I believe she lost at least 1 million followers. It was that much. But she's fine today. Like today she's fine. Road is doing well. Hailey is positively spoken about. She's doing well. So the same thing kind of applies here. And with Hailey Bieber, she went up against Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez, the most followed person. Selena Gomez, the childhood icon, Wizards of Waverly Place and her music and everything. Like she's the childhood queen. Like a lot of us grew up on her. And even with all of that, Hailey's fine. So in terms of the culture, like how we as people on the internet, like how we react to certain things, if people were able to move on, and I don't want to say forgive because it's can we say that we forgave Hailey? I don't think she was looking for our forgiveness. But if Hailey was able to overcome the drama with Selena Gomez, I think people will be able to forgive Matilda and her behavior against anonymous people, you know? So let's get into this section of the video. These are some of the comments that I saw and some of the videos that I saw. I'm going to try and read they're kind of small, but I'm going to try and read it. It says, "So you're telling me my favorite person has got mad at her workers and treated them horribly. So this is the Matilda that we're talking about. What do you mean that Matilda is being exposed?" Stuff like that. There's this, she's loved. That's just a fact. And there are so many videos like this talking about the fact that she's too sweet. She's an angel. Why would she do this? I don't believe it. I mean, all these edits are meant to create this image of she's an angel. Why would she do this? I don't believe it. Look at her. She's adorable. I wish I could play the music for you, but copyright. But a lot of the songs, almost all of them, it's super nostalgic and it just feels angelic. She is loved. Like even apart from her influence, her fans love her. So what are my thoughts about all of this? It has always been about Matilda, the person, selling her image. It has always been about who she is, how she looks like, her hair, her aesthetic. It has always been about that. The clothes that she wears, the way that she does her hair, it's been done before. So when you watch her content, you watch it because you like Matilda, the person. And because people are in love with Matilda, the person, it's going to be very hard to convince them. I mean, when I say them, I mean her fans, that, oh, you can just abandon her. They're not going to do that. They're not. And whenever stuff like this comes out, I try to put myself in other people's shoes. I remember when I was younger and One Direction was my air, my fire, my earth. I could have been the avatar for One Direction. Like I would have done anything for them. If you had told me that one of the boys or all of them had committed a crime, I would tell the police, "No, that's not true. I'm a witness. They were with me. They didn't do that." I would go to court to speak on their behalf. That's how much I was a fan, a super fan actually. So if I remember how I felt, currently I don't have anyone that I guess obsess over like the way that I did with One Direction. Maybe it's age, maybe it's I don't know. Maybe I don't know, I'm old now. Not that old. I'm not old, but um it's just um if I try to put myself in that frame of mind, I can understand why it would be difficult for someone who's been supporting her for years to all of a sudden just drop her because, she's in controversy. You're going to stand beside her because this is when she needs you the most. I'm sure if you check her DMs, apart from people sending her hateful messages, there will be people sending her hearts and get better, Matilda. We love you. You can do it. So I don't believe that Matilda will crumble. What is likely to happen? I don't know. This is not an educated guess. I have a feeling that Djerf may or may not crumble. The business might have to be dissolved, which is unfortunate because that means people that work for the company will have to lose their jobs because the company is no more. And maybe she will start a new brand or she will change the name so that um it's no longer associated with the negativity of Djerf Avenue. That's very possible. So she could start a new brand and call it Maddie Matilda or, Matt's. Oh, let me not even try to give a suggestion. But yeah, she could come out with a new brand and move away from Djerf Avenue. Because now when you will search Djerf Avenue, all you're gonna get is all this negativity. But maybe if she starts a new brand, it has a new name, and although she's going to use her face to market it, she doesn't really push herself into it that much. Yeah, she could start something new. And also, don't forget that the people that are mostly upset right now, yes, a lot of them are her fans, sure, but a lot of people that are upset because they're not really her super fans. So it's easy for people who are not your super fans to leave you when something goes wrong, you know? The people that are like, "I'm unfollowing, I'm not supporting you, I'm done with you." I think those people are casual fans. They're not the super die-hard fans. So it's easy for them to say that they're done with her because they were never really super fans of her in the first place. That's just the reality, unfortunately. And I'm sure that she will also gain fans. There are a lot of people who are allegedly bullies, allegedly fat and skinny shamers who will hear all of this that's going on with her and be like, "Oh my God, twin," allegedly. And they're going to say, "Oh my God, Matilda, you're just like me, and I'm just like you." So she's going to have an influx of new people. You know how they say bad press and good press are kind of, you know, two sides of the same coin? Yeah, I agree with that. Sometimes bad press is enough to get you out there and you can turn it into good press and make some money because it seems like allegedly she's more focused on growing her brand and being inclusive and doing all these things so she can make money, allegedly. But long story short, this is just a reminder not to idealize or idolize any celebrity, any influencer, any famous person. We do not get to see what they do behind the scenes. There are a lot of people coming out now and saying, hey, I met her 4 years ago on a boat. I met her 2 years ago on a plane, and she was rude and she was mean, or I worked with her and my experience was not great. So this seems like it's not something new, but we as the general public, we as the fans, we will never know if our favorite influencers or celebrities are good people or bad people. And to be honest with you, I think a lot of celebrities and influencers are just going to get better at pretending. A, a lot of people will fake it, and the only time they will ever be their true selves is when they go home. I think that's the only thing. Because never in a million years would I think that of all the influencers, of all the people to have an expose like this done on them, I would never guess Matilda Djerf. Not even because I'm a fan of her, but because, like, I would never imagine. It would never come to my mind that she would be involved in something like this. So again, it just shows that you don't know anyone, you don't know people, and it's just a reality. Celebrities are just like us. Like I've said before, they can be mean, they can be kind, they can have good days, they can have bad days, but they're just normal, regular, everyday people. And that's it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Matilda. If you made it this far into the video, I would love to know your thoughts down below. Before I end the video though, I want to say, oh, I skipped a little too forward. But if you are here, I want to say a huge thank you because I recently hit 10 freaking thousand subscribers, and I don't think people realize how much of a milestone this is and how grateful I feel to be in this position. Like, I know 10,000 seems like, oh, well, everybody, anybody can do that. But like, I never actually imagined that I would ever hit this milestone. I just feel super, super grateful that 10,000 people are here. I am so, so grateful for that. And I also went and searched up the picture just to see like how many people are 10,000 people. It's basically the same amount of people in a tennis should I say a tennis arena? I don't does that sound smart? I don't know. But it's a lot of people. That's the whole point. Um so yeah, it's a huge milestone. It's a huge accomplishment. I feel super grateful. I'm thankful for everyone that's subscribed. I'm thankful for the community. I feel like I am learning more and more every day. Like, I always have to do some kind of research. I know, like, I'm not a professional YouTuber or anything, but I always have to do like some kind of research. I always have to like hear different opinions. I feel like I'm learning more than I would have before. So I just feel super, super grateful. And again, I'm so thankful for every single one of you. I also got a virtual cake so that you can all have a slice. So make sure to get your slice, make sure to enjoy the cake. And again, if you're here, I'm super grateful. Now remember, you have to take a slice before the video ends. If the video ends and you don't get a slice of cake, I mean, it's done. And even if you rewind it, you go back, it's just not the same. So remember to get a slice, have a good day, or a good night, whatever time you watch this. What else do I have to say? Thank you for watching. Yeah, thank you for watching. And hopefully I'll catch you in my other videos. Hopefully another live stream, another something. Um, if you're new and somehow you made it to the end of this almost 2-hour live stream, thank you for watching for this long. Make sure to subscribe. You might like my other stuff. And if you're my usuals, you know, you're someone who watches my content, thank you so much for making it this far into the video. I'm so grateful for you. Again, don't forget to get your cake before the video is over. And thank you. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, bye, bye. Have a good day. Have a good night. And thank you for watching. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also comment. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribe and like. Bye.